Hi guys, and welcome to episode 7 of PGR2 Road to Platinum in the arcade mode. So in the previous episode we did the first 4 timed runs in the arcade mode, and we're going to be continuing that today with time runs 5 to 8 in the Deja Vu section, whatever that means in this context. So we've got 4 races with 4 laps each, so it is going to be a bit more difficult, this one. And the first one, we are in the Mitsubishi 3000 GT in Florence. The more laps, I think it makes it a bit more difficult, because usually they've got some difficult corners in that you've got to do 4 times instead of twice with the 2-lap races, so we'll see how we do. So on the left there, I've got the time required per lap. It's a bit of a precise time, this one, 37.875, but that is what it divides down to per lap, so we'll have to see how we do and try and meet that each time. Of course, it might not be the case that you get below that each time. You might get miles below it one lap and then over it the next lap. You just have to see how you do. So we're coming around to the most difficult corner of this, which I can't seem to get right very easily, and it's quite hard to carry a lot of speed round through there. But we see from the first lap there, we do get 36.9, so that's way under what we need. So that's quite nice there. Having to try and find the right lines through here without going too wide on each section can be quite difficult. And through here you can go full throttle, not a problem through there. It's got decent brakes, the 3000 GT, not the best but not the worst. So you can brake on the braking line where you need to there. So not too bad. Again, coming up to this more difficult corner here. Doing it a little bit better, I think, that time perhaps, but overall it's quite a bit of a slower lap, 4/10, but still under what we need. So doing 2 laps under what we need is going to put us in good stead for the next 2 laps, as we bank some time basically that we can lose on the next laps. So it's good to think of it like that, really. The quicker you go, the more mistakes you can make later on down the line in the laps. So going a bit too wide through there, which is an example of not doing so well. But we'll see how well we do when we come out of this final corner again. See if we can do it any better this time. And going way too wide this time, as you see, kicking it into a slide. Really not the best one there. And that's actually a 39, which is over 2 seconds slower than our best lap. And that just shows you how much they can range these. But it's nice to stick to tightly to the apex on that corner, then you can swing out wide. So you can cut round and have a better angle for that next corner out there. Full throttle round here again. Getting a much better line through there this time. Again onto this straight for the final corner to see if we can take it a little bit better than last time. Getting a bit of a better line through there, but having to adjust, otherwise I'd hit the barrier. But there we go, it was just over a 37. So not too bad at all there. So we can see we actually did pass by nearly a second, 9/10, so I'd say that's fairly comfortable overall. If I did that 3rd lap a bit better, then we would have passed by quite a bit more, but I don't think that's the hardest one that we've come across. But it's not easy, you've got to be quite consistent with these 4-lap races. Getting 5,800 kudos in that one, so that's not too bad at all. Moving on to timed run number 6, and we're in the Porsche 959 for this one. Quite a high target for this one, 3 minutes 26 in Edinburgh for this one, which is a bit more of a complex circuit. And this did take me quite a few attempts to get used to this car, coming from the 3000 GT. And as you can see there, it's an even more weird time we need. 51.687, and there is actually another digit on there, but I'm not going to put that on because that's just ridiculous how accurate that would be. But if you take that time that we're given and divide it by 4, that is what you get. So that's the target, however random it may be, for each lap. And this car isn't really brilliant on this track. There's when you go past the first straight into the tight corners, the 959 does understeer. It really doesn't kick round the corners very easily. So it's best to just put it into a little slide the very start of the corner, just to get the nose turning around a bit more, because it does understeer quite badly. But we can see there we do a 51.2, so that's 4/10 quicker than we need to go, so that's pretty good already. Braking around here, getting nice and tight to the apex there, going a bit too wide out there. It's got a little bit of a combination of power sliding out of the corners and also understeering as well. So you can see here I am kicking the end round a little bit with that power slide, just to get it facing the right way. Going a little bit slower through there, but overall not too bad. Coming over this bumpy section here, which isn't too bad in this car actually. Be a bit worse in other cars. Flowing nicely through there. Trying to find this right line again. I think I went a little bit too wide, but it was okay in the end. Trying to get close to this apex and that one as well, because you can go full whack around there. And that's an even better lap, that one. That's a full second more than we need, so we're really banking that time at this point with a 50.6. But that's where we'll pay for it. Going way too quickly into there, carrying way too much speed, and also going too wide on that corner, so that's quite a bit of time lost there. But we're learning this bit a little bit better in this car. Going around a little bit better. Trying to get the car straight going onto this straight. Well, it's not much of a straight, is it? It still curves around a bit, but it's more of a straight than the rest of the track. Going on two wheels around there, but that's expected at that point. Going nice and close to the apex there. And trying to find as much speed through here. You can pretty much go full throttle around there. That's a 50.4. Surprisingly, the quickest lap we've done so far, even though it had that horrendous start. And we do lose the clean race there by hitting the barrier a couple of times. Not the best, but when you're going up that section there, it does tend to be a bit hard to control with all the bumps and stuff in the road. But anyway, we're coming around this last bit for this bit for the last time, should I say. But as you can see, from each lap we've done, we've been way under the target of what we needed. So you'd like to think that this final lap should be absolutely fine to do that, as we do hit the barrier again. None of these colliding with the barriers have actually slowed us down too badly, but of course we're going to lose the clean race. And you can see coming around the final corner, it's not our quickest lap, but you should see the time there of how much we actually passed by on this track. It was over 3 seconds. 3.6 seconds, so that's the most we've passed a timed run by quite a big distance. I think it was 1.7 or something is the most we've passed by before. So I don't know whether that one's an easier event or whether I just drove some of the laps really well there. But nevertheless, I'm definitely taking that as a win. 3.6 seconds in the clear there, that's pretty decent. And 7,000 kudos altogether, which is a nice amount as well. Very nearly at that rank 50 now. You can see it counting up in the top there, only 15,000 away. As we move into the final timed run for the episode, timed run number 8, using a Lotus Exige. And we're in Moscow for this one, on a track that's not really going to challenge this car too much. Very wide track, not really technical at all, it's just a load of sweeping right-hand corners. And the target we need for each lap is just over 35 seconds. So we might as well just call it 35 seconds, because it's under a tenth that 0.25 or 0.025. So yeah, that's not really too challenging, this one. This is probably the more difficult corner, trying not to get it into a slide. As you can see, I did get the back end out there. 34.8 though, so we're a couple tenths under what we need to be. Need to stick close to that apex there so you can accelerate full through there. This corner can be a little bit difficult to see where the actual line is, but it should look a little bit something like that, so that you can cut out wide and then get as close to the apex as possible without hitting it, as I was quite close there to colliding with it and slowing us down, and also that barrier. But doing that a little bit better that time. Not hitting the barrier, not sliding as well, so a little bit better coming around the finish line there. And again, that was much quicker, 34.5. So we're banking that time again, getting nice laps in here. Going a bit too wide here, and then easing off a bit too much. And also going a bit too wide from the apex there, so not brilliant. But good enough, hopefully. We'll see how we do when we go around this corner, see if we can not slide. Sliding a little bit, but quite controlled in the end. It's actually 35.5 that lap, so that was way, way slower. That was half a second slower than what we need and a full second slower than our fastest lap. So far from the best, but we have to see how we can do this lap to see if we can make up for it. Come around here quite nicely. And there as well, using the width, nearly hitting the barrier on the left, but just about keeping it. Come through here as well. And we do the worst slide of them all for the last corner on the last lap, of course, but it wasn't too bad a lap time, 34.7 or 8. And we get a clean race, so that's decent. But we do pass by 4/10, so it's not majorly comfortable, but it's certainly okay. Not too bad. From the better laps we did save it. We had one poor lap, but overall, not too bad at all. 5,700 kudos for that. So that's very good indeed. So we've got one more timed run to do, guys, in this episode. Moving on to timed run 8. A very, very weird looking track. And a very strange one to include in a timed run. But we've got 4 laps of this oval track. Well, the 2 straights with corners at the end, it's more like. So having to get used to this car, it's all about not making it power slide too much. And obviously getting as close to the inside of that corner as you can, realistically. Hitting the barrier slightly there. But as you can see, we need 19 seconds per lap, and we do an 18.7 on the first one there, so it's not too bad. But we do go a little bit too wide there. But again, really trying to feather that throttle on the way out, so you don't spin out or kick the end out too much, because that does slow you down quite a bit. So you have to be as smooth as you can here. Get an 18.9 pretty much, so again, we're under what we need. So we just got to keep this consistency up. Again, a very weird track to try and do this on. Very close to hitting that, but it was okay in the end. But is that going to be too slow? It's an 18.9 again, pretty much the same time as we got last time. Last lap. So we've got 1 lap to do, and we've banked a little bit of time from all those laps, so we'll have to see how we can do this last corner. And we do go a little bit too wide there. But coming across the line, it was just over 19 seconds, but that was our first one that we did do over 19 seconds, so we have passed that. And by 3/10 as well, and on that size track, I don't think that's too bad. Realistically, not going to be by a massive amount with those type of lap times. But that's the last one of the episode done, guys. We've got 5,822 kudos for that, so that's going to work our way towards that total for us. See if we can rank up. But we'll see what we've got next time, guys. So in the next episode, we've got time runs 9 to 12 to do in the Power for the People section. And these are all back to 2 laps, thank God. So that'll be a little bit less confusing and complicated. So that's the end of this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next episode.